in the field. And here on the main stage, we have Guillermo Boschele from Babaco Market. Good morning. And Marco Gianfranchi from Istituto di Management in Italy. Buongiorno. And you're going to be talking to us about lean tools to reduce food waste, the case of an Italian startup, Babaco Market. You have the stage. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in half an hour.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Marco Gianfranchi, and I collaborate with Istituto di Management in Italy. The experience I have the honor of presenting today refers to an Italian startup founded in 2020. So we are talking of a very young company, and the people working at Babaco Market are also very, very young. And young is the idea that Babaco follows. We have chosen to share this experience with you for two reasons of interest. First, our interest as a citizen, or even better, inhabitant of a planet Earth. As you will see from the presentation that follows this introduction, Guillermo Boschele will tell you how this startup's idea contributes to reduce waste of natural resources, in particular food waste. The number I have already had the opportunity to preview a few minutes ago are truly significant and worrying. The amount of food that we civilized citizens throw away is enormous. Therefore, an initiative like the one of Babaco Market must be highlighted as it positively contributes to the ecological sustainability policy that have already been discussed and will be discussed during this event. But environmental sustainability is business only if it combines with economical sustainability. Yesterday, Alessandro Martimucci spoke to us about frugal management, and the same Agenda 2030 stipulates that these two principles have to travel together. The second reason of interest is then for us as lean people. Babaco Market not only creates products that reduce waste, but uses a series of lean-style waste production techniques and processes, quite sophisticated, considering that the recent date of foundation of Babaco Market, and consider that Babaco Market sector is the distribution of fruit and vegetables, a sector where processes innovation is generally limited. This constituted a particular interest for lean people. In these 3 years, in which I have had the opportunity to follow and to collaborate with Babaco Market, I have shown 3 different production sites and the development of a number of production layouts, now difficult even to remember. After the introduction, I pass the word to Guy Boschele, who will present Babaco Market case and its journey, just started. As a final point, I just heard yesterday that Babaco Market won the award for Best Startup Company in Italy, a prize organized by Ernst & Young, a prestigious recognition dedicated to all the young people who have chosen to work in this Italian reality. A te la parola, Gish.
Thank you, Marco. We don't have a lot of time, so let's just get started. I'll present what Babaco Market is, the team, and our story with Lean and the Istituto Lean. So thank you, Marco. Let's get started. So why was Babaco Market created? It was created to reduce waste and make good, healthy food more accessible for all, to inspire people towards a more mindful and sustainable consumption. So a key point in the world, we're actually throwing away 1.6 billion tons of food every single year. This is equivalent to 9 million tons of food being wasted in Italy alone, out of which 4 million tons are being wasted in the food chain. So they're not really getting to the clients or the household. So this is the main issue that Babaco Market is trying to tackle. with the mission. So it was founded by Francesco Ghiberti on the left-hand side picture on the left, and Luca Masseretti in May of 2020, so during the pandemic. And I started the journey in Babaco Market 2 years ago. I was around number 15, and we are now over 45 employees. So I have seen the company grow a lot in a very short amount of time. I'm just really happy to be part of this process. Excuse me, I did not change the slide. Echo, so we can see the founders and the team. So going forward,
are you sharing? Are you sharing Gish?
Oh, excuse me.
Don't worry.
Excuse me. Let me share really quick.
Yeah.
Okay.
I confirm everything is okay now.
Okay. Little technical issue. Okay. Thank you. Thank you,
back
Marco.
to the founder. Go back to the founder.
Yeah. So let's take a look at this picture. Okay. So the founders, as I said, Francesco Ghiberti and Luca Masseretti, and the team has grown quite a bit in the last 2 years. So we multiplied by 3. In our short history, we've come a long way. Originally based in Milano, we have expanded to serve the whole of northern Italy. And we have focused this last year on giving the client a more accessible and sustainable product. So always looking back towards our mission. And we wanted something that could be personalized. So we decided to exclude up to 3 products and give this choice to the client. So he would have a wider available choice of selection of items. And in line with this is offering not only fruits and vegetables, but also going to tackle other household consumer items that would be wasted for one reason or another, such as oil, wine, cookies, eggs, you name it. So the first product that Babaco Market worked was a simple bonsai or jungle box. They were identical. So the only difference here was that they were either 6 kilos for the bonsai or 10 kilos for the jungle. There wasn't really anything that made them stand apart. They were both composed of seasonally grown fruits and vegetables, and they are both composed of second category products. So products that are too big or too small or too ugly to go into traditional retail. And they are only Italian products to reduce CO2 waste. So the boxes are essentially the same within the category, so they are interchangeable. And this gives us an opportunity to standardize the product and simplify a lot of problems in delivery and in production. So let's take a look at what the first production line looked like when I arrived. So we had a very simple and low-cost setup that was meant to have a standard product. So the operator, as we see in the video, would simply get an operating instruction and begin to compose the box. So he would pick the fruit and the vegetables with the correct portioning, portion them out, put them in the box. And since all the boxes were the same, it was really a repetitive standard process. There wasn't any need to change anything. So the main problem with this is that it's not really scalable. It's not flexible. I had a lot of waiting time when we had a lot of operators on the line, as operators don't go at the same rhythm. So we certainly had a lot to improve in the process. Go to the next slide. So the first challenge we had was a really quick growth, and we needed to produce a lot more boxes in the same amount of time in order to meet customer demand. So we had this sort of really great problem, which was a lot of growth. To do so, we moved from our first warehouse to our second warehouse, where we had more space and we were able to configure a new line. So in this new line, it was no longer the operator moving and using his hands to pick every single product, but it was rather the box moving down a line where there were stations, and each operator would work from 2 to 4 products, and he would be responsible for inserting those products with the correct quality into the boxes. And as you can see from the video, the production is in bulk. This is before we started working with the Institute Lean, so we had a lot of work in progress in the line, and this was certainly a cause for problems. We had some defects, boxes that would get passed down and would not have all of the items from the stations just because they passed down and they were not looked at correctly from the operator, so there wasn't really a good quality control. And it led to some really long waiting times when the stations were not balanced correctly. So I personally balance these stations week to week, and I can assure you that it's very difficult with a shopping list that changes from week to week, because you don't know what kind of product you will receive. The quality and everything has a huge impact on the cycle time of these stations. So it was around this time that we had our second product in the making, our second challenge. So we had to come up with order customization. So we had to shift towards order customization, which disrupted the existing standardized product. So we needed something that would fundamentally change the production line in order to cater to personalized orders. And to do so, with the help of Marco and the Instituto Lean, we began to map out the processes, and we began to analyze where we had inefficient processes, where we could grow, where we could change our operating methods. So it resulted in a notable organizational structural improvement, and it led to enhanced efficiency and effectiveness within the company. Forward. So the main point we focused with Marco when we were in the warehouse in the projection phase of the line was to look at the takt time, which is something that had not been considered prior to this moment. So we began to look at sales data and projections, and we began to project what the takt time would be in order to respect the customer demand. And as you can see, there is a really high variable, a high fluctuation between the summer months here in Italy, summer, July, August, and the winter months, where we would need to have a really low takt time. We would need to produce at a very quick pace in order to keep up with customer demand. So we had that going on, and we also had a very high fluctuation within the week. So we needed a line that was really flexible and that would permit a scalability, which is something that lacked in the previous line. So with this in mind, we began to work on the mock-up of the line. So we took into account the takt time. So we began measuring the cycle time. As we can see in the video, we used a simple mock-up with chairs and a lot of people helping with the portions to be able to identify if the solution that we proposed was feasible or not. So we had this collaboration with the Instituto Lean and the producer of the final line that helped us in the creation and to get the times. Another important aspect to make sure that the line was sustainable and that we would not have problems down the line was the ergonomic aspect. So we needed to see that the height at which we were going to build this line made sense. So we wanted something that would not only respect the takt time, but that would also respect the well-being of the workers. So this was an important part of the process. Otherwise, I'm sure we would have come up with a lot of different problems down the line. Let's go on to the next slide. Okay, so the current warehouse houses this new production line, and so we moved again because we had a bit of problems with the previous warehouse. But in this new warehouse, we were able to set up finally our Envision line. So now the composition part of the box is independent from the portioning and quality part of the production. So it helps reduce the problem of the balancing act, as the composer does not need to wait for anybody. There is no work in progress. He just walks down the line and picks from the correct tray. So what's the correct tray? The jungle boxes, which are the bigger boxes, will pick from the top tray, the ones that are further apart, and the bonsai boxes, which are the ones that we mainly produce, will get picked from the lower row of trays that we can see in the image. Here, there is no bulk production of the same type of box. We're able to pick either from the top or the bottom, so it's very flexible in terms of production. And we had to have a compromise in this new layout, so we did have to reintroduce the wasted motion of walking back to the beginning of the line, but we have minimal weighting and minimal defects. So one defect is that they can pick from the wrong slots, but it's a minimal issue. On the other side of the line, we have the portioning side of the production line, where it's self-balancing. So this is very important because it allowed us to work with the takt time, and it allowed us to work in a manner that gave the fluctuating cycle time of the products a place to be. So when we have products that are really quick, we can fill up the gravity racks and have a small buffer that permits the worker to move on these wheel-mounted tables to another area that is in difficulty. So this is a really important concept that we were really happy to introduce, because it allowed us to manage the high variance from week to week. And this was all nice and well. We were happy with our production line, but it wasn't enough to go fully order customization and personalize the boxes. We also needed to, I did not change. So this is the other part that I was talking about. So this was all nice and well, but we did not have enough with the physical part aspect of the line to finish the customization. We also needed to introduce a warehouse management system that would allow for the ERP, so our management tool, to speak directly to the operator and tell him what he needed to pick from what slot in order to produce the correct box for the correct client. So we no longer had interchangeable boxes. We needed to basically give a distinct list to every single worker. And this was all done thanks to the digitization part of the production line. And then our final challenge that we faced was going beyond fruits and vegetables. So enabling an add-on from the marketplace, giving the customer more choice and having a more rounded shopping list. So something that was more sustainable in the long run. And we began this process much in the same way that we began the process of the scalability and flexibility of the first production line. We began to look at characteristics and stakeholders. So who needed what? And we began to hypothesize what this new project would look like. So how we needed to transform the warehouse, how we needed to change the spaces, and how we could do so in a manner that took into account the most amount of characteristics that we thought were important. And obviously we looked at needs for other stakeholders, not just what was comfortable for operations. So we took into consideration the buyers and investors and so forth. So let's take a look at what the final layout looks like. So we have in this layout, finally, we're able to change the production line of the fruits and vegetables and not only focus on the marketplace. We went from a straight line into a U-shaped line, and this U-shaped line permitted the operator to begin and end at the same starting point. And this went to eliminate the walking time that we previously had. This elimination of the walking time is what we utilized as the time needed for the picking. So we did not have to hire additional resources. We were able to work with the same amount of people that we had previously while offering the client more value. On the layout side of the slide, we can see that on the right-hand side, we have the production area with the production line, and it occupies the most amount of space. But the production process is concentrated in a small walking area where there are 15 fruits and vegetables that are mainly always picked. So here we're going for velocity and really condensed walking time. while on the left-hand side of the layout, we have an E-shaped corridor where we house the products. We have over 500 references, so there is certainly a high walking time, but it's because we cannot control what the client will order. In doing this project, we were able to cut down on emissions and save. So it was really nice to see that we could apply lean to our production process and keep the mission at heart. How were we able to save? We basically had this whole warehouse that was refrigerated, and as you can see on the screen, down the middle, let's see if I can write on it. Down the middle, we put this wall dividing the marketplace from the production line, and this division allowed us not to refrigerate the marketplace, and we were able to save on electricity bills and CO2 emissions by almost 30%. Let's go back to the next slide. Okay. So in this next slide, we'll take a look at how the current picking and the marketplace look like after much consideration. On the screen, we can see, Marco, if you can eliminate this drawing that I did previously, that would be great. So on the video, we will take a look at how at the marketplace. So the operator here is looking to get a new order, assign it to the bin, and then he will be guided on where he needs to go. So the corridor, the rack, and the correct position. And then he will have to scan the place to give feedback to the system, confirmation that he's there, and then scan the product to confirm that he has picked it and inserted it into the bin. He will repeat this process until the picking is complete. In this case, he missed the fact that on the terminal it said that he had to pick 2, so he had to go back. So we certainly need to eliminate this kind of muda. So yeah, he will just pick, and then when he's done picking his items, he will take it to the packing station, and in the packing station, he will pick it from the bin, open it up, confirm that he opened it, and then he will see the list of products that are inside of the bin, take them out, and then scan them to give confirmation that they were picked correctly and that they're all present in the packing station. He will then open up a new either bag or box based on the amount of volume and quantity of products that are available. In this case, it's a very small product. We can fit it inside of the fruits and vegetable boxes. So he will put it in a bag that is food grade, and then he will assign it to the wall for a later merge with the fruit and vegetable box. So it's nice to see that we were able to maintain Pogayoki also with a digitalized system. Let's see. Forward. Okay, so one other thing I would like to point out that was fundamentally moving was the fact that we were able to have a bigger amount of collaboration with the resources that work in our production line. So we initially began working with Marco to engage the resources, and we did so by creating the stand-up meeting. And in the stand-up meeting, we go to not solve problems, but listen to the resources. Sometimes problems come up, but mainly it's just listening to see what can be done to help them and to track the performance. So we look at things such as safety, 5S, quality control, the production. So if everything's going to plan, as well as delivering inventory. So one example, or actually 2 examples that I wanted to represent from this daily stand-up are the quality control that was bettered when they said it was inefficient enough. We took a look at it and we decided to eliminate the writing down of the key details of the boxes that were controlled, and we implemented a tablet and a simple barcode reader in order to accelerate the process. Another thing that was done to help them was write down the tasks that needed to be done at the start of shift and the end of shift, and we created this very simple slider which would just represent if it had been done or not done. So it was a really simple visual representation of what was going on. Let's go to the conclusion as we're running out of time. Okay. So in conclusion, through the implementation of lean methodologies and strategic projects, significant strides have been made towards achieving our mission. Our efforts have not only prevented food waste, but have also led to the creation of more sustainable and accessible product that align with our core values and objectives. And let's just take a look at the positive impact we've had. We've had over 17,000 happy customers. We've helped save over 1,800 tons of fruits and vegetables, 4,000 tons of CO2. In the process, we helped over 100 farmers get their money back on investment while serving a huge part of Italy. And we began our fruit delivery system. So we're now delivering boxes also to companies that care about sustainability. And I would just like to take a moment to thank everybody for listening. And as a personal note, I would just like to say that I've always lived with uncertainty, and in my life, I've traveled a lot as a kid. This is the third country that I have the pleasure of living in, and I now have a method with lean. I have a way of dealing and coping with this constant uncertainty in my life. So thank you very much. I will now take questions.
Thank you, Gish. We have time for 1 or 2 questions. If any, please write in the chat so we can see all together. So if there are some questions about Babaco Market and the way they use lean tools, please write in the chat. Otherwise, as we have 2 or 3 minutes, I make a question to Gish. If there are no any other question, can you cut off the view?
Yeah.
So, okay, thank you. Thank you. How do you involve workers during this process? Because workers, we saw them, they live in a very cold place. They work in a very cold place. And it is not easy to involve them talking about lean or something like that. Do you have some experience to tell us in these 2 last minutes, a couple of minutes?
Yeah. So basically, they just wanna be heard. They want their ideas to come out. It's not always easy because it's easy to not care about what you're doing when you're working at such a hard and cold place. But just asking and showing them that we want to grow, and asking them if they believe that the changes that we've installed are actually working, if their job is getting easier, if they would prefer to do things differently. And they've always responded positively to the fact that they were asked questions and they were taken into consideration. We actually have started a written anonymous feedback from them. So it's another way of getting feedback that sometimes does not want to be given in a very public or upfront kind of way. So give more possibilities to give feedback, not just in person or directly.
Perfect, Gish. Thank you very much. I see now the flag. That means that we have only 30 seconds for thank you to everybody who participate and share this experience with us. Thank you very much, and please continue to follow the next work with the main stage and the other section. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Marco. Thank you very much, Guillermo. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for participating.
Thanks.